All right, welcome back to the channel. Today is my first day back post-surgery. That was last Monday. It's like Thursday now. Should be totally fine, right? Let's party. I'm back on the Allegro. I have a customer bike being mailed to me. It's the second attempt. I didn't know when it was coming, so I tried to bring it yesterday and the day before, apparently. Third attempt, final attempt. Hopefully it brings it today. The Allegro in the last video got aligned and cleaned up. I just hit it with some clear spray paint around the candy bosses I added for 650B. I keep forgetting to order the ball bearings for the headset, so I just measured them. They're like 5/32. I don't have any. I just ordered some on eBay. It'll be a week. Maybe I'll find some locally or check the hardware store next door if I get really bored. But I am going to mount the fenders first, which seems really weird, and it is. But it's because I don't have the headset parts to mount them first. It's because I want to get the fenders installed because they're cool. These old chrome cruiser ones, probably from the 60s or 70s. They're real tight. It's this little pinched area makes it fit nice inside the fork crown. It's too tight and like a millimeter on both sides of the tire. I'm definitely going to have to go down to 38 millimeter tires. Which kind of figured anyways. The back's real tight. It's real tight up here. These are some 42 Hetras on my frame builder wheel. It's like a Dura Ace hub to high polish Velocity Atlas that I got on clearance, and built some frame builder wheels just for stuff like this. So I'm gonna play with it and see how it fits. They've got these crazy wire stays, which I'm most likely not gonna use unless they magically line up perfectly, and then I might because they're weird and cool. If not, I definitely have some new Honjo stays and some weird vintagey stays. Fender install job number one, and then the hardware store next door is like changing all the racks. I keep throwing these wire racks away. I keep wishing I'd grab one, but I can never think anything to do with it or where it would fit. Finally decided I do not want to spend $500 on chromoly aircraft tubing to make a little front rack for this. So the hardware store to see if any more racks are going to throw away. They didn't. They do just have steel. It was $6.50. It's solid steel bar. It's little. It's got all sorts of nonsense all over. It is 3/16 by 4 foot grid rod steel. So this is twice the weight of this much chromoly 1/4 inch hollow aircraft tubing. I'm just gonna make a little tiny rack, and I don't want to have much money into it, so I got $4 into this. I'll have a couple of braze-ons from Frame Builder Supply and a bolt. I'm gonna make a cute little rack, and I'll probably just sand it and clear coat it to match the rest of the stuff. I was trying to decide if I'm gonna do like a little demi-pourtour or just a handlebar bag rack. I'll just go handlebar bag. I got a really beater handlebar bag that look hot on this. Even though it's really modern, but it's all sun faded and it looks really vintage. So I guess the first step is doing this fender. First thing I'm gonna do, I think it's gonna fit like real tried and true. So yeah, the blades like touch here, so it really has to come in on this little pinched part. The pinched part is like 2 millimeters on each side. It really can't be opened up any wider. Just gonna hold it here. Slide the wheel back in. God, it really was like it was made for it. Yeah, these things are definitely at least 1 centimeter too long. I'll probably have to go. I could just do like a little gentle bend or something fun. I don't know. Yeah, these fenders are gonna fit crazy tight, even all the way up. I want it all the way up, all the way up. So I have to decide if I want to use a little L bracket off the back. The Drema hidden inside, like Renee hairstyle, needs a leather washer and a steel washer. It's going to push this thing down 2 or 3 millimeters. Bring it all the way up like a paper thin leather washer. Usually bikes for 27-inch wheels fit 6V with way too much gap. Yeah, this was a 700C bike originally. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I don't remember it right. Oh, it is also, it's a little bit dimpled in the front. Oh no, this really needs a Drema. It needs a Drema, and then I might have to do some bending and extra dimpling to get it up as high as I can and give me the clearance I want. All right. Going to my bin of extra used fender parts. Here's like a paper thin, like plastic Durama washer I made out of something just for situations like this. I've also got my fun leather washers I've been making with my little star logo stamped in them. Can you see? It's pretty thin. Maybe we'll try it. I'm pretty sure I have a zillion new Honjo and Velourn Duramas, but if I have an old beater used one, sort of go with the aesthetic of the bike more. Here's like a used Velourn with the smaller fender Duramas. And the R-clips, we're going to want these R-clips. Here's one of the bigger Duramas that I've already cut the threads down because they're probably so long it was poking into something, so that's a good candidate. Really get things tight as possible. But the feeling this cut down one might be all the right things anyways. The long M6 just to put through and just hold this in place while we work. This hole is like not even big enough. It's like M5, not M6. Probably English. It's probably. Everyone thinks bikes are fast and easy to work on. They're always not. They're not. Nice. Quarter inch now. Super thin metal flat washer. That's what I wanted. All the ones I could find are like so thick. To not bend. I want this to bend. I want it to take the shape. The underside of this car. I want to get up every extra millimeter I can possibly get. And yeah, there's enough on there for a full lock nut, couple threads to poke through, and a washer. So I'm guessing enough to actually hit the tire. Turn it sideways so you can see a little better. You can get this wheel up in here so you can see what's happening. This is pretty normal with fenders. Giant gap over here, is tight here, touching the tire. Cannot even get the tire all the way up. Renee Hurst makes a special tool for this. It's not designed well and it's really expensive. Or you can just bend it. Fender is absolutely too tight for this tire. But I want to use you. I'm not even sure if I have the wheel all the way up. It could be hitting the nut in there. Just every millimeter, man, is what I want. It's so tight. There are tricks. There are tricks. Being a little less tight. I think the back's got a little bit more clearance, so it should be a little bit easier. In theory. Boy, I cannot wait to make these things go away. Oh, I really didn't want to use these 42mm tires because they're so cute. I really did want to use them. Tightened on, bolted on. It's no way, Jose. Not with these 42s, maybe even not with 38s. They are so effing tight. They're so cute though. They're also crazy short. I want to use these fenders. I want to use the white tire. I saw with my customers, I just want to use a tire 2 sizes too big. Like, you can just make it happen. Every bike, no matter what size the max size is, like, I really need to go one bigger, but that touches. So I really need to go 2 bigger. No matter what the list of sizes, they're always like that. Like, oh my god, you guys. My last commuter bike was that old Schwinn Prelude I did for myself, and it fit a 28, and that's what I rode, and it was fine. It's fine. Narrow tires, but it's fine. It's like 36, but I'm actually getting too hot with junk on. All of this is taking way too long and filling up too much of my phone and wasting my time. So all I really want to do was make that rack. Fender's going back on. It's getting bolted on. We're just going to pretend the 38's going to fit. I just need it lined up on the tire so I know where it sits. So we can make that rack and make that rack as sexy as possible out of cheap solid steel. And I've seen a lot of vintage racks out of just bar stock and chrome. This will be fine. This will be fine. All right. I'm just putting this dang thing on. I'm not wasting more time. I'll check in with you guys when it is on and we are ready to party. This part of me still wants to use these horrible wires. It really does. But they steal a bunch of room in here too. The Durama, the wires from the outside, I need that room. I need that room, so I'm just going to drill these horrible little rivets right out, put those Dilemmas in. Alright, check back on you guys in like an hour. Alright, got this fender mounted. Pretty happy with it. I found a little bag in my stash of vintage Dilemmas. And then I had to go get some new old stock stays. And some Velo orange R clips and some old Honjo screwdriver head style bolts to make it try and look older. One of these Dilemmas I found is so cool. Can you see it in the light? It's brass and all like the metal finish is scraped off and it's all brass and cool. I only found the one though. So I put it on the back by the reflector. I think it'd be more visible. I just had another one that looks the same. I used some like ostrich leather washers I made. Pretty fun. This fender is very short, so it's gonna be a little bit tricky to do the front rack. You can do about 18 centimeters max. It's only a little bit of the fender poking out. This is the bag I'm planning on using. It looks a million years old, but it's actually a Ruthworks from San Francisco from 10 or 20 years ago. So it's not very, very old. It's actually like black X-Pack, like super fancy modern material, but it's like faded to this old, like dusty, deserty color. So it'll look cool. I'll get this guy on here. I love it. Now I'm worried I'm gonna have to make a decaler too. That's fine, whatevs. I'm gonna put the brakes on here. I wanna make sure they fit the way I want. I'm probably gonna use Rene Hirst bolts. I might use the Velo orange bolts. I think I have a few sets of those. They don't cost me anything. Rene Hirst bolts I have, they're different. Set it up to build one way, don't switch. So I'll play and see. I have some Rene Hirst ones I've burnt a few times, so I use them for making racks. Because the whole thing's in place if I tack weld them or braze them. So I'm going to test fit the brakes, those bolts, and then I'm going to start bending this tube. All right, I dug out the old Mayfax. I had a new old stock set. I have a super wide tandem set, a little crusty, pretty nice shape. We'll clean up. And this really crusty set I got for free from one of the other guys who goes to salvage sale all the time. Missing the spring, went through all that dilemma, bought a bunch for way too much money, found a bunch for free. These top bolts have like no chrome on them at all. They're not interchangeable with any other Mayfac. Just is what it is. I think the pinch bolts are, this one's pretty crusty. I actually saved the slightly nicer ones for the back since they'll be more likely to be seen, the rack and everything. And I feel like I might have put these pads, well, I mean, I kind of want them, I don't want them all the way in. I kind of want them like here. So probably have to use racer pad holders, which are longer, and the modern cool stop pads. This one's absolutely the rear. Been bent to tow it in the wrong direction. But I just wanted to test fit them. I got my Rene Hirst bolts here. Don't want to use them because I don't want to order another set. Expensive. Whatever, I'll probably need to order some more someday. Or I'll just use these burnt ones and order another set someday when I need them for a rack again. Makes them look older and more fun. So I can take the brake and spring off. The difference in the Rene Hirst ones is I think they're actually thicker. So definitely like built racks with like these, and try to use Velo orange ones, and I did some washers or something like. I'm just gonna put these bolts on. Brakes don't need to be there. The post and the bolt's enough. So the cool thing about the Rene Hirst ones, they have a little built-in washer. It's kind of pretty. They look prettier. They're M6 on one side and M5 on the other side. The Velo orange ones are M6 all the way through. It's just like a thin nut. I've made my own with these. You can just take a long M6 bolt, cut the head off, thread a stainless steel M6 nut to wherever you want it, and just silver braze it in real quick. So I've done that too. It's fun. Okay, Madoki. So I have my Frame Builder Supply rack tabs. Just a rack tab. This is gonna go on like so. So this bolts on here and just sticks out, so we'll have the rack stay just braze right onto the front of that face. Just sit right on it, fill it braised, no miter, no nut. Well, I'm going to miter it to the right angle, and it'll come up to the side. The top platform is going to come through the M6 bolt hole on the top. So I got these black oxidized M6 bolts. They're extra long, but the threads are long enough that I can pretty much cut them down for any of the thinnest or thickest fork rounds and still have only need like 4 or 5 mils of thread, or if the fork round's real thick, I can use some extra. I got the built-in washer, which I really like, and then it's the dumb head. It doesn't matter at all. I'm gonna just sort of file a little bit into here so the rack can just come up and just kiss this and be brazed onto. So it's like file like a little U shape for the rack to just barely sit into and braze in. So this will stay in the crown, brazed on, then we'll pull it out. And, well, I mean, I'll probably pre-cut it down and stuff to make sure I like the way it fits. This crown is really, really narrow. I'm gonna have to absolutely use some sort of spacer. That's totally fine. A few millimeters of spacer on one side, or I'd use little half-round alloy spacers, you know, see on vintage brakes. And then I have not decided, but I might make this little teardrop rack. I was thinking about doing a waterfall. I was thinking about doing a square, like old French style. I don't know, that piece of tube is $6. I can go buy some more if I change my mind. But I kind of want to do a super elegant little teardrop just because I love them and they're the hardest ones to do and they're always the most impressive. Waterfall racks are real hard. I want my big, on my home bike home, a giant Porto out of chromoly waterfall rack. It's really gorgeous and fun and hard. Yeah, I really need to get this guy. It doesn't matter, we'll figure it out later. I'll leave lots of threads. I don't want the rack to come out and hide this whole fin because it's cool. I often have the tip of the rack drill a hole and mount a bolt so I can mount the fender to the front of the rack as well. It gives a little extra stability. You know, 3 points of mounting instead of just the 2, which, you know, rear fenders have 3 points. Sometimes, you know, this will flap or rattle or rock your tire. With this cool fin, I don't want to, so if I do it, I'm going to do it back here somewhere, which means an extra bar in the rack and a thing. So I really might not. I really might try and not overthink this. Maybe. So I guess it's time to bend a rack. Let's just do a bunch of math, be wrong, bend it, call it close enough, be mad, redo it a second time. We'll see. All right, I did some real simple math. I do the math and then I'm wrong anyways. I don't even care. I don't really care. This thing doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes guys already have a hole in their fender. Like, no, it's got to line up perfectly with that. And from the bolt, like, ugh. We're not trying to give ourselves a heart attack on this one. So this is my Swagelok tubing bender. It is a 1/4 inch tubing bender. Swagelok is insanely expensive, like $700 or $800 for new ones. Guys are asking 2 or 3 for them on eBay. Always been able to find them for $100 on eBay if you wait. Just keep searching every day. Get a search reminder. Lowball bid on stuff. Offer guy stuff. There's too many sitting there. It's for 1/4 inch, so this tube's way smaller, so it's gonna probably try and do really annoying things like jump and move. So I have to stuff a bunch of sandpaper or something here to try and keep this thing from moving. I want the back of my rack to be a little teeny tight bend. Wonder if I can use this piece of leather. All these leather washers I made. Maybe we can leather them up. So I'm gonna leave a little bit hanging out the back. We can trim it down to where we want. We can just go a little extra long. That might be tight enough. I'm gonna try and hold it. Don't move. Don't move. And the drill press is in the way. Oh, don't move. Get out of the way. Let's go around the drill bit over here. You know, this is just steel. It bends pretty easy. You might not have to do it. I do just want to keep holding it. Or maybe we'll do this. Come on, bro. It's catching on the fender. I'm gonna do the full bend to about 180 degrees. That is definitely too tight, but I'm gonna like open both sides up as I go the way I want. Thanks, little leather washer. So this is my first bend, and this is gonna be the back side. It's against the crown. And you can see it kind of comes out and it's way too low. So the plan is, it's gonna stick up a little bit. I'm gonna bend it a little bit here to get the rack sitting right where I want. This rack's gonna be so small. It's gonna be so small. I'm gonna measure my 18 centimeters. And I put a mark right at 18. Is that crazy? It is crazy. I don't remember how this works. It's been a long time. Let's try it. This is my big benchtop bender. This is all kind of really overkill for this little tiny rack. I could probably just bend this around a metal cup by hand. Like, oh, no problem. Benchtoppy bender. The smallest little dude is 3/8. So it's going to bend how it wants. It's going to be weird. But the plan is, got a big mark on the center of this guy, and I want to make this mark end up on the center of that mark. Try and hold this backside pretty flat. Oh, come on, drop it down. There we go. I don't want to get too warped and weird, but this is really light rod. It's pretty easy to bend. I definitely missed by about 5 millimeters. It's fine. Now I'm in the way. Ugh. Everything's in the way. I'm gonna have to cut this down because it's just in the way. I want it to come all the way around here, about 3/4 of the way back. I don't know. Usually I take this thing all apart and cut it with a hacksaw and file it, but I'm just gonna cut it with bolt cutters. There. Faster and easier. Oh, this is too big. I usually do this with 1/4-inch tubing and try to make a rack way bigger. This is so little. It's like ridiculous. 16. So I lost about 2 centimeters trying to shorten it up. I'm not gonna do it on this tubing bender. It's too big. I'm trying to make 2 smaller rack. Everything's worked out so far until now. Definitely kink can be weird somewhere. Try it again. I'm gonna try it again. This is about 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30, 30. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Maybe I'll try and bend it in this first this time. Yeah, alright. The art of rack making. So I think I cut this about 33 centimeters. So I go 15, 16 and a half. Should be right about the middle. 33 and a half. 16 and 16 is 32, yeah. 16 and a half. This is so soft, part of me just wants to bend it right against this guy. Here's an old trick. When I first started building, I used old engine pulleys. Clamp them in the vise like this. They'd always try and pop up right here, so I brazed a flat piece of metal there so they couldn't. That was chromo. This thing's pretty soft. Let's see. Just bend it. Oh, that was a mistake because I was going to loop around at the end. I'm just trying to see if this thing's even small enough. I don't have anything a good size. I have to buy another piece of this steel. It's Not sure, I'd probably use this for the stays. Okay, now it's getting the shape I want. But I obviously did the math horrifically. We're at 15 centimeters. I want to be at 18. I need the loop. So 33 was way too short. What do we got left? Not enough. I have to run over and buy another one of these rods. Ooh, it's 44. It's 44. It's 10 centimeters longer. It's that long now. 15, 16, 17, so I need 2, 4, plus the loop. I think we can do it. I think we can do it if we do not screw this thing up at all, in any way, shape, or form. Also, this was $6, and I can always use it for other weird stuff. It doesn't work for this, but I want to. It's definitely more fun than using a piece of chromoly, because I used to have all my numbers written down on a big piece of poster board. Draw the rack, I'd hold it, I'd have everything written down so I could hold it up and just mark it at the bends. Make perfect racks for the lengths I want, just modify a little bit for stuff. And I, of course, need to do that. My ex-partner wanted to keep all that stuff real bad because I figured it out and it was real handy. I have a photo of it somewhere. Probably figure it all out again. All right. So this is where I want it. So what I want to do is restart it in the same place, bend it all the way around, and have enough left over in the bottom to do the bottom bend and come back up. So this is 33, so we did 16 and a half, right? Maybe. Wish I had a smaller bender like that. Something I could trust like that. All right, we're gonna give the old college try one more time. There's a bit of an angle. Put it on the center. Put it down tight. It's a good start. Pretty open. I want this to come, this will let me come all the way around and get my V, my taper to start. I want to do that. Do something silly like flip it upside down where I can't see if it's popping up or not. Can't see if I'm centered. Hold it. I'm about it. Yeah. Starting, I want more. What if I put it right in the center where I want it? Sharpie mark it up here where I can see it. Like I said, I've never just made a wire rack like this before, or this small. So it's a learning process. It's getting there. Love to pinch it in a little bit more. And then we just got to bend this end and hope this ends up touching this. Sometimes you just squeeze stuff, it'll like kink right in the middle and give you a really ugly bend. So I'm trying to be careful. I don't want an ugly bend, I want a real pretty radius. Here's just a piece of hollow tube. Try and hold this here and see if I can get some more with it. Oh, that one's trembling kink. Still pretty. It's getting a little tighter. Alright, I want this to come up and wrap around. Touch the other side. I'm still looking for 18 total. It's right here. Really might be able to do it. So basically, want, what's this left for my mark? I'm at 9, so I'm about 4.5. It's a lie. I want 4. I want a little extra. It's going to shrink some. I don't remember the math. I think it shrinks like 4.5 centimeters over like a full radius or something. This end in the middle-ish. What's the middle of 7? 3.5. But that'll end up too short. We cannot bend that, my dude. I don't know. I'm going to put it right at 5. I'm going to put it right at 5 and see what happens. I don't even remember what I'm measuring off of anymore. Let's try this little swage lock again. So lock it in at 0 here. That's going to be a little bit shy of the center. And come up, and it's going to be short. We're going to lock it in at 0. This even mark. It's the only way. We don't want it too long. I hold it up and try and get it pretty even. I am going to hope from where I am. 0, it's the mark made straight across from this side. That's going to let me get this radius in here and some to come up. And not slip, and not fall, and. No, God, I made this so much extra than I thought it needed to be, and it's still not quite right. But can we come in and make the light bulb shape we want? I think we can, just barely. It's not very flat enough to play with it. Get it flat. That is real close. I think I'd be real happy with that. All right, I'm gonna do a little filing on this. I'm gonna do a little gentle massaging and bending. I want this all to come up and kiss and just touch right where I want it with no tension at all for me to braise it. 0 attentions. Also, how big is that gonna be? I want 18 max, and that is, it's like 18.3. We'll see what happens when I start bending it. Alright, I clamped this in the vise and just gave it a couple little strategic pushes and tugs and put a little guy on it and did a little bending. Everything goes so smoothly when the camera's off and everything goes to shit when the camera's on. So it now looks pretty good. My bulb looks pretty good. The centers doesn't look really crooked or weird. It's got that little bit of extra overlap. So I'm going to cut this off, clean it all up, do a little filing, a little sanding. I'm going to take it to my flat surface table and really make sure this whole thing sits perfectly flat all the way around. Braise this guy together on a tubular rack. I would open it up, clean the inside, put a little piece of steel, like another little piece of tube that fits perfectly on the inside, a little perfect sleeve. Braise it all together. That sleeve will be so strong, the joint will be so strong. This I'm just going to butt it up, braise it. Brazing's pretty good. Not even have anything super heavy. Seriously doubt this ever going to come off. There's no tension. It's bent till it's just going to kiss. 0 tension, should braise, should never break. Real light, real little handlebar. I'm going to use the other one, this big loopy that we cut. I'll probably cut it in the middle of these. And it'll come up something like that. Make a nice little gentle curve. Sometimes the gentle curve is actually really, really hard because it'll come back too far right into the cantilever brake. So we'll have to play with it and see exactly where it wants to line up and hit and what's going to look the best. Sorry if you can hear that squeal. So I'm going to get this cleaned up. I'm going to get it flat. I'm going to get it brazed. We'll cut the little bolt on and braze it. And what I'm going to do really then is can't just have it sticking straight out. I don't want the fender up like this, but I want it flat. So I'm going to gently bend this whole thing as a unit after it's brazed. So it can come up a little bit off the fender and then get flat and still be hovering above the fender, in theory. It's like 4 or 5 millimeters too long, so it's probably going to shrink it 4 or 5 millimeters. So it might end up right where I want. I mean, right here is pretty good. You can still see the tip of the fender. Well, went home, stayed up all night, edited a video, got up early the next day to edit the video some more, get it ready. So yesterday when I came in, I could just get right to it, get a bunch of work done. And then yesterday I spent all day putting stuff away and doing some cleaning and organizing and got 0 done. So I just got here this morning. I'm here like an hour early like I try and be. We are here to party. So I basically finished this little light bulb. It looks pretty good. You know, I can tell it's not perfect right through here. Maybe a little bit more bent. It's pretty subtle. It's pretty cheap. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's on a scruffy old bike. No one's really going to notice. Now I believe that brazing it right here will be no problem. It's going to be great. I do know I'm going to put a bend in it right about there, so it's a little less good. And with real racks, I like to, like I said before, pin them with a smaller sleeve of hollow chromoly rack tubing. Like if you use 02 8-wall rack tubing, which is very thin wall rack tubing, the next size down will fit in. So 3/8 will fit a 5/16 piece in. It just slides in, perfect clearances for brazing, perfect tolerances. 5/16 the 1/4 inch fits in, 1/4 inch the 3/16 fits in. Since this is not hollow, what I did is I took a drill. I decided to play with it. I was like, I can just braze it the way it is, but I'm like, if I pin it, it's going to hold in place for the brazing. It can make it feel stronger when I'm bending it. So I just took a drill and just drilled a little hollow bit, a few millimeters on both sides, and took a nail that was just sitting here and just filed off the sharp part and just cut 3 or 4 millimeters off. I had to use a magnet because it took me 3 tries. I kept dropping them on the floor. They kept disappearing. So I used a magnet to pull it in and out of the vise just so I wouldn't drop it. And then I just kept filing the nail a little bit more, or drilling the hole a little bit deeper until the joint lined up. It's pretty close. It is like 99. It's not 100% perfect. Nothing ever is. I'm always trying to let the perfect be the enemy of the good, you know? So this is cleaned up. So today is brazing day. This is where the video gets exciting for me. Maybe for you. I'm going to sand a bunch of this, for 2 seconds. Fire my torches up. I hope they don't run out of gas. They love to run out of gas on the weekend when we're trying to film a video. So let's hope we can get this rack done before it runs out. So I took the bolt, I cut 1/4 inch of threads off. Still left me plenty of threads for a nut, a washer, to go through the fork crown. Probably too much. I'll probably still use a spacer. I filed a little channel in the head so that it'll fit around this round tubing. I'm going to aim it slightly. I'm going to braze it on 2. So aim it to come up. Then we'll bend it flat. I like stuff to sit real level. So if I was smart and wanted to be perfectly level, I would have some digital angle finders. Ugh. This is a level top tube bike, like most vintage bikes. I would, even with the bike in the stand, doesn't need the wheels. I'm going to be on level ground. I just have to set this thing, get it to about 0 on the top tube. Then I can check the head tube. 0 on the top tube, so I bend the bike until it's 0. So I check the head tube. It's going to be 72 or 73 or 74 or whatever. I can put it on the steer tube and set this to 74 degrees or 73 or whatever it is. It's probably 72 is what I'm guessing. And then I can bend this rack to make it perfectly level. Probably won't. I'll probably just do it by eye. And it can also come down a little bit because I don't want it to actually touch this fender. And it doesn't need to be perfectly level. Often level will even look a degree down, which is gross. A degree down is gross. I see guys charging $7,000 for custom frames and paint jobs, and they're not very good at racks, or they don't do them very often, and they'll have their rack down. No, it's awful to the eye. So you want level, but even level looks that way, so often I want level or really at least a degree up, not like just barely. Unnoticeably up so it doesn't look down. Sometimes guys will do aggressively up too, and that doesn't look good. So I might just do, it'd be annoying to do this one joint and wait for the other one to cool to do the other one. So I might do them both together, which also might be annoying. So I gotta figure out a way to jig this up. There's no good way that I found. I don't really have any jigs for this. I've made a few rack jigs in the past for stuff, and they're annoying. I mostly just set it up with magnets and stuff. It should be fine. It should be fine. So I'm gonna take some 80 grit. That's what I use. Other paintballers use lots of other stuff. Maybe you need that for TIG or whatever, but 80 grit MMA cloth is my guy. It's my jam. It's my dude. So I'm getting all this gray stuff off, which is like oil to keep the metal from rusting. This is just plain steel. And getting the metal clean for brazing. And I'm gonna do up here around this joint too. I need to open this joint and make sure there's no cutting oil still in there from drilling. And I'm gonna splash it with some degreaser, splash it with some rubbing alcohol maybe. All right, pretty simple jig up. I got a big welding magnet holding it right in the center of this bulb, a little welding magnet. Got the bolt right in the center of this bulb. Did not measure it to make sure I know it needs to come up at some of an angle off the bolt. The bolt's flat, it's up at an angle. I'm not sure how much, it'll be pretty close, I'll bend it. It's gonna look really cool no matter what. I got these guys all fluxed up, I got the pin all cleaned and fluxed up. A little bit of brass, get my gas on. So I just have to come in here and get it hot and get it brazed and pull the brass through, and if it makes a big blob, I don't care. It'll be on the bottom side. This is the side with the pin. I'm putting on the non-drive side, so it's less likely to see. And it'll either come out really nice, or I'll be really careful and just make a big ugly blob, and I'll spend 5 minutes filing it. It doesn't really matter. I want the joint to be nicer, I want it to be easier to braze. Let's see if we can make this happen. Got a number 0 tip. I always cut it so hot. A little eye protection for brazing, but also I like this so I don't have to like not wear my glasses. I've never found anything else that fits over glasses well. Also keeps all the fumes out of my face. But I also fog it up real bad. It's cold this morning, so I'm going to try and just put it down just like barely low enough. So I'm going to breathe out the bottom, not burn my retinas. Where should we start? I don't know. We get the big head of this bolt on. And this part of the rack doesn't fall apart while we're doing it. This part of the joint's probably going to be hot enough. Everything is all lined up. It still looks pretty close. This is solid steel, which is nice. This bolt head's solid steel, which is nice. When you braze something real big and thick like this bolt head onto hollow tubing, it's real tricky to do your heat control. Get it warm on the bottom, try to get all the water out of the flux. Then we'll get it warm, then we'll pull brass through. The flux keeps it from getting dirty, keeps it from getting burnt, lets the brass flow. I want the bottom to be warmer than the top, so I'm going to put a bunch of brass on the top, and I want to suck all the way through, filling up this whole joint. Full of brass, not just a little bit of brass around the outside like you stick a piece of bubble gum on. Underneath and around, man. The way a sock fits around your foot and then fits into your shoe. Like, everything else is just for show. Don't fall off. I want that brass. Flow in. Oh yeah. Nice puddles of brass everywhere, but if you don't look, it absolutely didn't work. You just assume it's perfect, it's going to be junk. I'm trying to build a little fillet on here for some idiot. It's perfect now. It's hard to file. Should have just left it alone. You can get it so hot when you're brazing to the top to make it pretty. Suck all the brass out of the bottom where you had it wanted it. I got a nice big blob. I definitely changed this. I'm glad I put that pin in. It's like, ugh. maybe a little millimeter gap, which is good. And get this brass up inside there to flow in and fill that pin. Fill around the pin so it's not just flat on flat. It's going to fill that whole inside drill holes too. Being going to be cool. It's going to play nice. Not going to expand and have the pin shoot out in my face red hot. Come on. So you got to get it hot everywhere so the brass will follow the heat. Fill that pin. And dump some around the outside. There's a little blob on the bottom. Gravity's doing its thing. See if I can make it fight gravity and go back up. Nah. It only wants to go up towards the center. It doesn't matter. A little extra filing. Mostly what I want is just a little bit of blob where you're going to be able to see it. So I don't want to see that line, that cut line. But all the brass is just flowing down to the blob down low, making it bigger and not hiding this cut line. And if you see it a little bit, doesn't matter. The joint's strong, running in there. So that is it for this part. Now I'm going to bend it, test fit it a few times, make sure I like them bends, and I'm going to let it cool. Get it up, bolted on the bike, test fit it, see where I want to mark it and bend it. Hoping a little bit in front of this brass joint, not right on it. And then I'll show you how to bend it. Let's get it flat. Then we're going to take this missed bend we made before. It's too short. We'll cut it in half. I'm going to make this fit somehow cool. You know, I never do it this way. Coming up off the candy boss here and up to the rack, I always do it this way. So we can file this perfectly flat so this like seamlessly will blend into the bottom. We'll do something. We'll do something. It'll be cool. We'll like it. Remember to bring some stuff from home. Like 1/4-inch extensions. Long one. Look at this wacky one I found at some garage sale. Twisty one. We're doing it. 1/4-inch extension. 10mm socket from some garage sale or something. Let's see how fun this is. Oh, that worked. I thought it was just going to unwind. Alright, so I'm loosening this fender bolt so I can get this bolt in and out. Even though this is going to be kind of a nightmare. Come on. I got it looser, not tighter. It should come right out now. This bolt's my temporary bolt. It's actually not been that long. This could still be pretty hot. Get this lined up with that diorama. Oh, and all the way through. And perfect. Yeah, it's even a little long. We need to get this in a more permanent position. I'm getting it parallel to the arm, so now I can just put head tube angle in. I'm just guessing the head tube angle's about there. We have sure come up. We have shot the moon. So it's going to be a lot of bend to drop it down. And we can basically start like I have feared, like right in my pin. I mean, the candy boss is here. So I have the brake boss, so I know about where the cable is going to be about dead center on this brake boss, so I know I need my cable to come up. So I know the bend's got to be in front of that, and the tombstone's got to be in front of that for the bag support. So yeah, we're going to go a little bit in front of this big brass blob I just put on here. Oh, that looks pretty good on the bottom. There's mostly a drip of flux. It looks good all the way around. I'm real happy. So I'm real happy with this brazing. The brass looks good. Flux needs to come off, you know, flux can hide a little pinhole or something annoying. Looks even better on the bottom. That always happens. No matter what I try and do, it's like the side you can't see looks amazing. The side you can, I'm like, oh, I gotta do some filing. So I might just barely touch this with a file, if at all. A little sandpaper to make it look good. This gravity worked and kept pulling that brass down. So it's got a big old blob. I'm gonna spend 5 minutes filing this, sanding it. I'm probably need to do that now. What I'd like to do is, some of my hot pot's still kind of hot. I'd like to soak all this brass flux off first. But I don't think so. Soaking takes forever. The hot pot takes 2 or 3 times. It really needs to soak overnight. Are we straight? It doesn't. It might be straight. It might be like a degree off. It doesn't matter. Once I get it all bolted on where I want, we're gonna put a slight degree bend in the bolt, or you know what? It doesn't matter. So I'm gonna try and file this thing annoyingly. Filing the flux is not fun. Now I like these Harbor Freight square files. I don't know anybody else who believes me. They're awesome for high spots and not accidentally coming over and digging into the metal and making your low spots, or your normal spots, the low spots. And they're cheap, and they're gonna get dull, and it doesn't matter. And I think most guys are just so lazy now, they just come and ride in with sandpaper tools and just grind the shit out of stuff. And you get digging on the sides, I don't like it. Don't need super expensive tools. I'm probably going to be into this 2 or 3 whole minutes. And that's kind of good because it's, in the 30s again and I'm cold. Already starting to get hot. I don't want to go all the way. The flux is still here. Just going to get this blob out of the way so when I bend it, it doesn't bend weird. Very much less high. Now what's the right way to bend this? I'm going to show you. Trying to do it in my jaws makes too hard of an edge right there and it will just kink. But I've had pretty good luck. Done it a zillion times in this and never even noticed. So this is just some aluminum angle iron scraps I got. And cut them and I trimmed them just to make them look pretty and bent them over a little bit. These are my very first soft jaws I ever made for a vise. 15, 20 years ago and they're still holding up. I've also got these cheaper thick ones. Probably Park Tools or something. I think this used to be a magnetic strip and then it's got lines for holding different size tubes and things. These are pretty cool. Oh, I guess we should put a line on this where we think it's got to go. So I was thinking like, come check it over here again. So this is on upside down and it's like so cool looking. It's like so cool looking. Put it on right side up and it's like so dumb looking. Okay. So yeah, we got the Candy Boss. Gonna have that cable come right up to the back side of the brass lump. So I want to avoid it in whatever hanger I'm using, so I'm gonna bend it in front. So come in here and get this centered. Just gonna kind of gently, I don't know, clamp it down. I know where that line is. I'm just gonna push the whole thing evenly. You can put a board on here or something if you want. That is the right direction, right? Right. Just gave it a little bit of a bend and we're gonna check. Might do this a couple of times. Still way too high. I'm gonna bring that bend down a couple of degrees. Just gonna kind of make sure it still looks light bulby. The center is still at the top. That's starting to look kind of cool. Starting to look cool. Very much still not flat. Several more degrees. Whew. Whew. If I just stopped being a wuss, I could do this all in one try. And so what's the worst going to happen? You're going to go too far? I'm going to move it down a little bit lower too. Maybe make that bend a little longer and cooler. Less likely to just be an ugly kink in one spot. Well, but it's almost touching, so maybe not. So cool looking. Yeah, right in my pin. But if I ever try and do it any higher than down here, Like my last rack I did up here, and then it's right where this stay goes. So trying to braze the stay on in the brass you've already brazed, and then it's definitely melting and moving around. I'm like, ugh. Someday I'll figure it out and get it all written down. Oh, that's starting to look real good. It's still pointing up. It's not touching that fender. I've also got to worry this big fender thing comes back real far. There's a very good chance that it's going to poke up through the rack. So I can only come down another 4 or 5 millimeters max. I was like, I can come down almost a centimeter. No. If I do, this will poke up and poke through, and then it'll rub a hole in the bottom of the bag. We don't want that. Or I'll have to do something fun, like make another bridge across this rack, a little mount, a little water bottle bolt, or something going through and hard mount the fender to the rack, which I love doing. But on these really elegant light bulb shaped racks, I usually love doing it right at the very front, so there's no extra bridges or anything. So we'll see, but we're close. It's like so cool, but I gotta come up higher. It's like dead ending. It's like the tube's like touching that, and it's bending off this like lower inner rail. Could go out of my regular jaws and then just bend it just off the top like normal. Okay. There's a lot again. Oftentimes I'm not a pansy. It's been so many years since I've really done a lot of this. When I was building racks almost every day, I would just do it and almost nail it every time. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that is incredibly sexy. But this is going to pull up. And once this is all pulled up and tight, remember that. Once you tighten something, it changes everything. So I'm pushing this all the way up like it's tight, pushing this all the way back like it's tight, and there's still several mils. And this isn't actually poking all the way up through the rack. It's about level with the rack. So look at this. Pretty gorgeous. And I especially want to make sure that the tip of this thing is not going to touch this rack, because that would just... it would do that while you're riding and drive you nuts. So rent and Ur bikes are what I mostly focus on, even though I've never actually done a rent and Ur ride, but customers are into them. I think they're cool. I've ridden my rent and Ur bike on long rides. Long rides on a bike will drive you nuts if anything's loose or rattling or not working. So rent and Ur bikes really need extra thought put into them to make them as sexy and tight and aggressive as possible, but also really comfortable and fit fat tires on a road bike, which is difficult, and fit fenders, which is almost impossible. I was talking to Curtis about this last night. He's talking about tire clearance, and he got some brand new crust, and he's like, yeah, there's like an inch extra down here. And I'm like, I hate it when bikes do that. Rivendales do that. They have no fender clearance in the front, and then like exactly the right amount at the rear brake bridge, and then like 5 inches down at the bottom bracket bridge. Like, why? The fender needs to touch all of those points. They all need to be the same. The fender's on a perfect arc. It doesn't go weird stair steps. So I was telling him how I design rent and Ur bikes, like usually 20 to 25 millimeters of clearance at all the attachment. He like didn't get the concept at first. Like, what? I'm like, yes. So the tire to the fender to the attachment point in the bridges and under the fork crown is the same. All the points. So the fender just lines up and makes a perfect half circle and looks good and has enough clearance everywhere. Not one horrific tight spot in one of the places, which almost all frames you go like, oh, this will fit fenders perfectly 75% of the spot, and then the fork, you just can't get one under the fork for some reason. Like, why? Like, do all this bending and dimpling and giant dimples and hammer, just a nightmare. I know, I learned to get really good at fenders, so when I build my bikes, they fit perfect, so when I install them, they're not a nightmare, and it's lovely and perfect. And then everyone in the world brings me their bikes, which are not designed that way, because I can get good fender lines, so they torture me with that. I'm like, ugh, they're paying for it. I need that cash until I'm a rich, famous frame builder. Oh yeah, my line's right up. Oh, does it? Does it? Yeah, the fender's just loose. Yeah, everything's straight, lines up, looks good. So now's the fun part. Now I'm going to bolt this in for real. I'm trying to decide if I want to use these Rene Herse rack bolts or just not use them at all and just have the frame builder thing deaded right into the canny. So it means there'd be one long bolt going all the way through, holding the rack to the front of the canny. The brake has clearance, a mil or two of clearance in there. I can fit a bushing in there, the old Mayfac Raid bushing, and still spin perfectly fine. And that way I wouldn't have to use this like $40 rack bolt. The rack bolt's nice if you're gonna take your rack on and off all the time. You don't have to mess with your brakes or anything. But also, how hard is it just to pull this bolt out too and to stick a regular brake bolt in? Not any harder. So I might not use these. I might just go straight to these frame builder tabs. And then I'm also trying to decide if I'm gonna do something else insane to this. Let's say those guys on, like, should I have one come all the way up and then do the little thing and have the little light mount on it? I love a light mount on a rack. Or I could drop the arm someplace else, but it's really fun sometimes to have the whole stay come up, touch this, and continue that bending down as all one fluid piece, instead of just brazing on an extra thing somewhere. Which looks good too, but oh, it's all one piece and filed. Oh, so tight. Oh, it's so good looking. Let's bolt this dude in. I need me an M6 nut and a washer. All right, so I got the fender all the way off. That's why I had to mount it in the first place, just to figure out exactly the sizing, but now we got it. So I'm gonna probably bolt this down tight on the back, make sure it looks pretty danged level, really level, especially from the front. We're gonna cut the stays and stuff. If I was smart, I would have finished cleaning up this before I put the stays on, because they're gonna be so easy to bend. They're so easy to bend back too. Meh. Where is it? There we go. It's got a spacer and an M6 nut. It's not nylock. It's kind of grabbing by one thread. Okay. Eyeballing it. So the top of the fork crown on this is totally flat. So I'm looking for a flat surface. I'm going to get my eyes in line to try and line up the bottom of both sides of this with the bottom of that so I know it is flat. And this side's up like a mil or two, so I can just the tiniest twist. So let's get a little twist. I'm looking at it straight on, just move my whole body up and down, one eye closed. And it's the same on both sides. So in theory, this will be flat. At least that crown, which we think is flat. I decided I'm gonna be a cheap weirdo and I'm gonna try and just do the brakes right off the canny post and not use the double-sided bolts. But these are made for M5 bolts. So the hole is small and canny posts are M6. So what I usually do is I'll drill these out to 1/4 inch. So I just bolt them right on and just put an M6 bolt right in. 1/4 inch and M6 are about the same size. So it'll go on there, have a little bit of play. Now that I decided to do this, I'm feeling a little cheap and weird about it. I'm also just stole several millimeters of room. Will this be long enough? Yeah, more or less this will still be long enough, probably, mostly. So I just gotta drill these out to 1/4 inch and find some bolts to hold them in place so I don't mind getting flux and torch all over. Let's check right back. All right, I got these little dudes. These Frame Builder Supply rack tabs drilled out, cleaned up, sanded the front, found some little M6 bolts and bolted them on tight. I think I have them about the same angle. Just a little jaunty angle, just a little bit, very subtle. Makes me feel like everything's fancier. Like I said before, I'm going to start with the shorter one to make sure this will work. So I want it to go from the little brazioni up. And I really want them to come straight up or flare in, but you don't want them to come flare out. Luckily this is nice and wide. You know what? I'm going to try some other angles. So I go like this. Yeah, you won't be able to reach in and pinch the candy brake to get the quick release off. That's too crazy. Never done this. Sort of upside down hockey stick. That's actually kind of really Frenchy and fun. And suddenly I kind of want to do it. Is that nuts? It's a little bit nuts. I mostly like doing it this way. Oh, it's so elegant and pretty. Kind of an angle, like, it's not really helpful at all. I should just take this to the bench grinder. Maybe I will. Bench grinder. Not quite. Even sharper of an angle. That's pretty close. Maybe a little sharper, but I also might want to pivot it in a little bit. Okay. It's going to cut a little bit off of this end. I'll probably take some more off. Cut a little bit off, and I mean, I could just have these two things just touch. I would be into filing it a little bit. Kind of just like, it's on a bend, so I can only do it a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right, a real complicated miter here, a complicated miter there, and jauntied my angle a little bit. It's pretty good. I want to braze it. Cleaned everything, is ready for flux and brazing. The hard part is getting this first one all figured out. The harder part is getting the second one to match. If I was smart, to get this all done and matchy too. But I think I'm going to come in here and braze it. If I braze it, it'll hold this thing, won't be knocking it and having to adjust it all the time. And I laid this one up against this one. I made some real crude Sharpie marks. Could probably get there. The problem is if I cut this one too short or mess it up, can't go change this one, shorten it a little bit, and make it match again. It's also in so close to the candies. This rack is so small, and the candies are so small. I think it might be a good size for my hand. I think I really might be able to get around. It probably not. It's probably made it a nightmare. It'll lift one side up and futz with the quick release, which this has. So I'm also still debating about making one of these, maybe this one, into a hanging little light mount. I want to get this brazed up. I want to get the bag on. I might have to have the light mount come off the front and stick out like 7 inches to clear the bag. This rack is so little, and I just love it so much. I'm gonna braze it. Oh, and I also have to make a little loopy guy, a little tombstone for back here. So we'll have to use the rest of what's left for that. Okay. No probs. No probs. Make a bizarre light mount come down like that or out like that. We can do something. But I got this thing looking pretty, real mitered. It's a little bit crude, but it's got lots of good contact. So it'll be real strong. And then a little extra miter back there I'll have to hit with a nice fat little fill, which I'll probably want to do anyways. I should have just stuck this thing straight up and then just brazed it. Every time I try and do it on the bend and I do a little file, all of a sudden I spend an hour futzing with each tube to get them just perfect and really elegant, but I'm real happy. Flux it. Flux it. I don't really want to move it, so I'm just going to let flux fall around and into it. It'll go in. It'll be fine. I really it's crazy about it. I take it off. I've already sanded everything. I've already marked everything. Ah, it's moving. I knew it. So my plan is to cross my fingers and hope I'm heat up down here and tack this and hope this doesn't move. I did go to the hardware store and put a bunch of these little 65-cent metal clips because they won't smoke and burn, catch on fire like plastic ones. So it's sort of pinch stuff in place just a little bit. It's so small. It's so small. want to torch that paint. I'm actually going to heat the back side of this rack. Man, I guess we got to get all the water out first. This rack tab is nice and thick. You can really get it hot from the back side, then come to the front side. Let's avoid the paint. It doesn't really matter, but you know, I want to breathe in it. Yeah, it's getting pretty warm. Let's make sure the tube's warm. And that drank the poop out of it. Inside, not so much. We can get this warm and come get the rest of this brass warm, and maybe it'll flow right around where we want it. Yeah. Fill it up. Inside, outside, under. Beautiful. I'll look up here. I have some Sharpie marks. Yeah, they're still lined up. This is brazed now. I should probably be able to move the clamp and not have things move. I'm afraid if I take it off, I might, well, it shouldn't. This is pretty brass, pretty warm, but I'm gonna come in right next to the clamp first. Get it tacked, and then we'll move the clamp. Booty. Now we can just sort of, right out of the way. Hope this angle isn't the worst. This is thinner because I did so much mitering. This is thicker, so try and keep my heat more on the main platform. Hope I don't warp it. This thing is so thin, so dainty, so delicate. The old regular steel versus the chromoly. Yeah, you can see this tip got red hot. Trying to keep it on the main rack. The main rack's got more steel, so the rest of the steel is stealing heat too. So it's hot over here, it's hot over here. So putting heat over here, let it steal some, so you can get it hot where I want it too. I want you to go where I want you, not where you want. The blob was trying to go down this tube. I got this hot, just feathered it so it would follow the heat a little bit and defy gravity a little bit. I really cared about this being super perfect. I'd have left this really loose. So we move this thing around, get it upside down, get it right side up. The whole thing is definitely full. It's more than it needs to file up for a little bit. Brass underneath and between and all the way around. Beautiful, beautiful. So you can see it here, red hot. Brass everywhere. I like to leave a little bit of the outline, not fully fill it so you can see the shape of the two tubes coming together. Made a bigger blob over here, still red hot. It just, it's like a 3-second edit, not a 3-minute edit. So let's make a bigger blob here so we can get in there and file, spend too much time filing. See a little blob down here, looks nice. Nice and fat, nice and full. Just spend just a couple minutes filing and rounding and shaping. It's gonna look amazing. So now I just have to spend a few minutes trying to get the other one exactly, get everything exactly the same. Get it cut down, shortened up, get those miters nice. And then, then the little tombstone on the back. and this thing will be partying. Check back in 20 or 30 minutes, get that miter nailed, or completely screwed up, we'll see. Oh, I've just about finished this miter. Trying to get this angle right, got this angle pretty right. It's a little bit of a high spot here. I think that might either make it fit slightly better or totally worse. I was kind of clamping this like down in the jaws because you really don't want all this unsupported tube. It'll just shake and shimmy, but it's so tight. I'm being way too anal about making this rack just right. I definitely filed this side a little too thin. Instead of building a fillet on this side, I'm going to build a little fillet on that side. Might lose some of the detail. What are you going to do? Bet you anything, that's about perfect. Every time I bend over, it makes me feel sick though. I gotta stop. Already been here a couple hours longer than I've ever been before. Got a little sandpaper over this, get those miters clean. The exciting sanding part. Making sure the edges aren't too sharp. There we go. That was a couple mils too long anyways. Now it's going to look more like the other side. Sanding all this dirt and oil and whatnot off. Get this thing ready to braise. There's a very good chance we will stick it in there. And it is ready to party. We'll braise this. We have an old light bulb. I think that is enough. So I'll probably cut this and just barely miter it and just squish it till it's the right width as the rack is wide. I checked it on the bag we're using. Normally I'd usually make this pretty dang skinny all the way, depending on the bag. But this bag's got kind of a nice fat, kind of, it's probably square, but that's going to be pretty dang good for holding this part. And then we're going to do the decalier maybe next week. I got these customer bikes and they're paying, so I already feel guilty wasting all of yesterday and all of today not working on them. Now I got two here. Alright, I'm going to turn this guy sideways so we can see it a little bit better. Can you kind of see it? I know everything's so small and so far away, but I feel like I'm going to bash into the camera, but it seems like a million miles away. Stop bending over, idiot. Okay. These things are about the same angle. Didn't sand this jerk yet, of course not. I'm sanding my Sharpie mark off, but I can measure off the other side of this like weird green jerk. Thing's getting pretty stiff even with this the one rack. You can see it move around. So once this one's braised on, this will be stiff enough for a handlebar bag with 10, 12, 15 pounds in it, but you can't sit on it, you're going to bend it. Uh-oh. That's cheap steel. I think it warped in here. I put the heat. It totally looks like a little bit. It might be nosed up a little bit. We may check on the environment tail after it's all done and filed and cleaned and bend the tip down just a teeny bit. It might be fine. I do want to get my Sharpie mark on here. I want it. I'm double checking it, but this should fit the only way it can. In theory. Let's clamp it and look at it from a few angles. It'll just change that miter a little bit. I want this to fit nice and flush on the tab down here. Lots of contact up here. Yeah, changed the miter inside too many times. It's not super happy. Contact down here looks real nice all the way around. It's definitely some contact right in the middle, and there'll be fillet around the sides. I trust this one way less to not move when I'm brazing. Yee! Alright, I'm gonna braze this one up real quick. Over that little tombstone. Hopefully I'll get out of here before it's dark. It just moved. Uh-oh. Might have to see if we can pinch it in two spots and if that can kind of help. Oh, that fits way nicer. Okay. Still fits pretty good. You can tell this one's down a little bit. This would be happier if it was up higher, then these arcs would match perfectly. Try and move it up just the tiniest little bit. You still happy up here? You want to be a brat? It's close. It's close. Flux and braze. And figure out the tombstone. We are in the home stretch. Oh, we're in the home stretch. So I cut off this little guy, I evened it, I put a little half miter, kind of an angle. I'm hoping it'll fit and match the. So this is the easiest way to do it, on the fork, off the fork, it doesn't really matter. A little bit more, inch. Tiny bit more, pinch. So what it is, I got a magnet sitting here. So I can sort of put this guy where I want, hold it just how I want. Why are you being a brat? There we go. All right, so I got it. Ugh, nope. The leather is kind of in the way. That's the problem. Come on. So I'm using a piece of leather. I'm sick of melting and burning my the little plastic guide inside the stand. So this helps. Came up here and I sort of marked this, sort of held it up and guessed. Of course, where I want is like 5 millimeters from that brass puddle right there. I really need to move the split in the rack up to about right there. I want it in the middle between where I'm raising anywhere. So I don't have to write these numbers down, so I don't make that mistake again. I got my Sharpie marks about 7 centimeters measured off the back side of the fork round, or right here, mark 7. I want this guy to come down and sit just so it's a little bit of a brat. Let's spend a little bit more time on the miter. I'm not gonna, I can just make the magnet a little bit more even. There we go. On my Sharpie marks. And then here's the trick. So a lot of rack makers do something I hate, which is they lay the tombstone back. They lay it back to try and get your bag as close to the steer as possible. Make your top tube longer, use a shorter stem. Don't. If you lay this back, all of a sudden it's in your bag's interfering and hitting your cable straddle. It's a nightmare, especially with Berthaud bags, with a nice little belt buckly style back. Buckle's always hitting it. Nah, I put my tombstone like parallel with the fork, which it's not doing. Come on, there we go. There we go. If I do lay it back, it's like a degree max. Or straight up and down. I do straight up and down a lot too. Your bag is going to sit straight up and down, trying to suck it back to make up for bad geometry and poor frame design. Doesn't help at all. Brake cable, it's coming right here. It is like straddle's going to be like here. It's going to be so tight. It's going to come up and around this rack and out to the brakes. Not be able to fall down and hit it. Yeah, I'm like a centimeter away. We're not laying this back so it touches your cable. Now if I was, no, this is as long as we could make it for the fender. In a perfect world, I would have made this rack like an inch longer, a few centimeters longer. So it looked better. I don't know. Perfect world, blah, blah, blah. That's on. I've already sanded everything clean. I just got to flux and braze it, and then technically this guy is done. All right. I was like, why is this being such a one side was longer than the other, by like a lot. It took me like 3 or 4 trims to get it down. I usually eyeball the front of the tombstone along the steer tube. Make sure that daylight gap looks the same on both sides. If I got both even, it was like way off. I'm like, why isn't this centering? Well, that's why. It's not centered. Already have a casualty. I already stepped on one of my 65-cent little metal clamps. Knock them off while I'm brazing, so I keep going. All right, that's off. This guy's brazed up. I, of course, blobbed too much on there. I got it perfect, then blobbed some more to be safe. So I'll do a little sanding on it, too. I just went and washed my hands real quick. I'm sure this is probably still too hot to touch. But we're gonna pull it apart, we're gonna look at it, and then we're gonna leave it in the soak tank overnight. Put anything you can possibly warm on metal. It cannot catch on fire, even though there's not a chance it's hot enough for that. Just to be safe. Guys, ready? Look at this little rack. Just a cute little light bulb, fairly straightish rack. Fairly. Put it on the alignment table, it's all sanded, I think. I tried to heat this side up a little bit to get it to move to which wanted it, but it didn't want to. And it's only off by like 1/4 of a degree. It's off, it warped right here a little bit too. I just touched that, it's red hot 5 seconds ago. Yeah, this side's like warped a little bit, this side's warping down. So this little thin tube warps a little bit. Chromoly really rarely warps very much. No one's gonna be able to tell. Why am I touching that? It's hot. It's pretty light. I don't have my gram scale here. Should we put it in the old Park scale and just see what it weighs? Park scale, can you read it? There it is. It weighs 5 ounces? 5 ounces? That's pretty light. I do not have one of my handmade normal size racks sitting here to weigh, but I do have this older Velo Orange. Wait. Oh. 9 ounces. So it is almost half the weight of this very similar style Velo Orange rack, which is a larger tube. It's thick stainless. This fucking thing feels like it weighs a pound. 9 ounces, only half a pound. And then I have this Nitto, whatever this original cool one is that everyone likes. Also 9. Interesting. So my little 5 ouncer, but those guys are probably a lot stronger than this. Stainless is really, really hard. I think the Nitto one's chrome. Velo Orange one's stainless. They're very hard, they're very strong. They're much bigger and thicker. Bigger diameter means tougher. Better material means tougher. But I'm pretty happy. It's cool enough. It's cool enough. Hey, alright. It doesn't quite come to the tip under the bag. Ah! Sits on that little tombstone-y. It's not super tight. Oh, did I do something stupid? Yeah, I did something stupid I'd never do on a customer bike. I was really trying to rush this at the moment. I came an hour early to start on this and stayed an hour and a half late on so many customers. The tombstone totally touches these little rivety things. I cannot stand metal on metal vibration. Oh, I wanted to get it real nice and tall because this pocket's so tall. I was too tired, too out of it. I didn't even think of that. If this were a nice rack or a customer's bike, I would remove this and shorten it up like a centimeter to make sure it could not ever touch that little metal buckle. Just rattle as you ride down the road. But it's not, it's for me, I don't care. I'll put a piece of duct tape and leather in there. I might take this stupid thing right off. You might not even ever notice. I'm not going to do long rides. It's my shop bike. It's my neighborhood, go get pizza, drop off wheels. That sort of bike. And every other bag in the entire world ever has like the little belt buckle thing down here. Nowhere near here. There's no rivety thing. Nothing's perfect, but it's a pretty cool for, I mean, these are like, what, 2? This was like $6, $1 for the bolt. And of course, renting an entire shop and going to frame builder school and gas and flux and brass and all that. I'm gonna say we're into this whole thing. Maybe $10. Sorry, I think it might have stopped recording somewhere there while I was ranting about how cool this little light wire rack is, like the old Mayfac wire racks I was going for. Anyways, that's my video. Thanks for watching.